I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down. Seasons came and changed the time. When I grew up I called him mine. He would always laugh and say, remember when we used to play? Bang, bang, I shot you down. Bang, bang, you hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, I used to shoot you down. Music played and people sang. Just for me the church bells rang. Now he's gone, I don't know why. And till this day sometimes I cry. He didn't even say goodbye. He didn't take the time to lie. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down.
Yo, let's go. Hey, wait, come here. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
Yo,
Let's go.
why do you love Fortnite?
What was that?
Let's go. Jaden beat the crap out of Magar. Grudge match. Yeah, that's true. Yo, do you guys voting Trump 2020?
No.
What?
What?
Why not? Who are you voting for?
Because he's a racist.
That's
What?
awesome, though. That's great.
Look at
Let's
this T-pose,
go.
though.
God, we got a Trump supporters here.
You got 2 Trump supporters. Let's go.
6 million Trump supporters.
Yes. What's up? Why? Wait. Why? No, we're just curious. Why don't you like Trump? I just want to ask.
Because
He's a
things he has
racist.
said as the leader of our
Epic.
country are not.
Why do you think he's a racist?
Because he's also.
I don't think he's necessarily racist.
Let's go.
I just think that things he said is not things that a leader of our country should say.
Like what?
I
Things that he
no,
said
you
about-
know,
Let's go.
I don't really know.
Oh, wah. Things he said about women. You gonna cry about it?
The things he says about women are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and?
Boy, look
That's
at
a
that.
terrible trait. Do any of you guys have girlfriends?
Women need to
Nope.
stay in the kitchen. Like,
Let's
you know?
go.
What's wrong with that?
God, I can't believe he said
What? Women need to stay in their place in the kitchen, and they need to take care of the kids.
Let's go.
It's true. That's what's going to
No,
make
no.
everyone happy.
Look,
they
men.
just want
Do you guys have girlfriends?
No,
No.
we're gamers.
We're gamers.
That's not why.
You guys think that women are less than men.
That's
Let's
because
go.
we play games. We play Fortnite all day.
And
Yes,
that's-
clearly you old, like not old, but like
Oh.
a decent
I'm a
age
young
man.
guy. How old do you think I am?
Like
about 27.
above age.
27. I'm 22.
Okay, well,
I'm 17.
regardless.
That's not good.
Look,
Wow,
men.
yeah.
Look, men.
That's
Listen.
a compliment. Guy Fieri is a hero.
Guy Fieri's epic. Yes,
Welcome
thank
to
you.
Flavor Town.
Thank.
So what you saw in that video was a example broadly of a phenomenon that I've examined regarding the way in which the alt-right, neo-Nazi, white nationalist movement is similar to an organization like, or at least uses means of recruitment that are somewhat similar to organizations like Scientology, for example, which is probably a more mainstream model of a modern cult. You could probably apply this to even the more extreme sects of evangelical Christianity, in terms of the way that they try to lure people in, or rather, well, you could say they try to lure people in, but also that, when the first image, when I saw this video, that came to my mind was the Trojan horse. That's why I chose the name of this video essay to be the Trojan horses, because I've been watching. Maybe I guess you could probably track the alt-right further back than Gamergate or 2015. The Trump campaign, which were two movements that they kind of glommed onto. But my observation will start there, because it was the first time that I saw them trying to do this infiltration tactic into an already existing movement. So very similar to Scientology or evangelicalism. The alt-right, white nationalist configuration has a person that speaks your language, a person that speaks to your interest. That's what this video is a really great example of, is that you are seeing Nick Fuentes with the Fortnite hoodie and all the gamer talk to the girls, and Baked Alaska with his kind of hello fellow kids, dressing like a teenager when he's extremely too old to be presenting Zoomer energy that I'm aware of. It is literally just the exact same talking points. If you trace back to, it's not a coincidence that David Duke was part of the alt-right, particularly at the very beginning and during the Charlottesville era. He was publicly held up in the alt-right movement, kind of in the way that Reagan was held up by the Tea Party as being a founding father figure of their politics. White nationalism has not grown since David Duke. It rebranded. Exact same language, exact same ideology, exact same dialectic. Additionally, David Duke was meant to be an update of the original Nazi movement in Germany, maybe 30 or 40 years before David Duke came up. David Duke was supposed to be a reinvention of white nationalism for that 70s, 80s era. And then before him, during the post-war era, it was George Lincoln Rockwell, who was the guy who made Nazism relatable. That's the danger, and it's very hollow. It's not like they're very convincing to the average person who is aware, even in the most passing sense, of the politics of the alt-right or trad calf or whatever number of rebrandings that they have gone through in order to white nationalists, Nazis, they do not like getting found out. and when they can no longer lampshade, which is a term that I originally heard mentioned by Emily Yukis in regards to an interview where she tried to get Gavin McInnes to say the 14 words without him seeming to have a deep understanding of what that was as a shibboleth for Nazism, for modern Nazism. So, Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska here are looking for normies to red pill. This is their language. This is their vernacular for groiping or whatever. They are looking for people that are not going to know the slang that they use to lampshade their motivations. There will be the most powerful recruiting tool for any cult is to have a thin layer of compassionate or progressive language when trying to attract moderates. I remember the first time that I started to see white nationalists trying to subvert or infiltrate the skeptic community. They spoke to skeptics in the terms of race realism. Whereas, for example, if you look at the different strains or tendencies within white nationalism, if they were trying, and to the extent which they have tried to infiltrate white evangelicalism, when that was the prime mover of white nationalism, they would send someone like a David Duke or a Jared Taylor in. That generation has aged out, and they have made the decision of whether or not they're in or out for the Jewish question, right? They made their decision. The majority of people who would have joined up on the back of Jared Taylor or David Duke did so a long time ago, and the leftovers now have decided that they are going to couch their racism in the libertarian style dog whistles of mainstream conservatism, right? They're not going to go all the way. They're going to, and probably, it's probably not even conscious. It's probably deep inside their psyche that they really don't believe they're racist, blah, blah, blah. So they're not willing to follow, David Duke or Jared Taylor out into the wilderness, where they have to be honest about how they feel about these groups. Furthermore, okay, Baked Alaska, Nick Fuentes, they know the language. They know the language of that mall. They know the language of IRL streaming is not a format that was invented by young Nazis. It is just another of the million things that they infiltrate or subvert. They are generally projecting, when they talk about the subversive nature, the claims they make about the subversive nature of Jewish people. Because historically, Nazis are the masters of how do you do, fellow young people? How do you do, fellow kids? And they backdoor into your Gamergate grievances, and they backdoor into your men's rights grievances. And I mean, if you look at Chris Cantwell used to be a run-of-the-mill MRA, men's rights activist, who was bitching about like fathers' rights, not in the earnest sense, but fathers' rights in the language of the reactionary MRA political movement, right? Because there are real parental issues for men and fathers that should be evaluated honestly. But we're talking about men's rights as a fig leaf for latent right-wing misogyny. Cantwell did not gatekeep Nazis, and these Nazis like Roosh and the more ideological types, they infiltrated his community, They Trojan horsed on his talking points about men's rights and anti-feminism. And it seems like for most of these groups, misogyny, racism, and homophobia, if you have a seed of that in your community, then you already have softened the soil for Nazis to infiltrate and subvert, to do their mimicry, to slide in under the veil of shared concern. So, bam, MRAs get infiltrated by Nazis. The movement gets poisoned, they extricate the converts, they move on. The Sargonite skeptics, right, get infiltrated by Gamergate grievance. Oh, we care about blah, 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 the pausing of video games and feminism and blah, blah, blah. They don't give a shit about that. As a matter of fact, if you examine the post-Gamergate alt-right, they bitch about how video games are a Jewish distraction to keep men from going out and socializing and getting laid and having kids, the standard talking points. So what they do is they get in there, they convert as many people as possible, and what they do is then extricate the converts by telling them, you thought feminists were the problem. You're wrong, the Jews. You thought that capitalism was the problem. This is the Nazbol thing, right? They come in with the anti-capitalist talking points to these more reactionary Stalinist type communists. The more reactionary end of MLs, not all MLs, but they go towards like the Jason Unruho. I can't pronounce the guy's fucking name. My point is that they go to that the misogynist, chauvinist end of lefty pole and go, you think your problem is capitalism. Oh, we agree on that, but then time to extricate the converts. Time to extricate the converts. Time to categorize, right? Like, go, okay, oh, you thought the problem was bourgeoisie. You know who's more bourgeoisie than anybody? The Jews. You know, you thought the problem were capitalists. Well, capitalism is just a Jewish scam. This is how they use the language. This is the scam. They fucking infiltrate and extricate. They scorch the fucking earth behind them so that the only group left, the only language that you are left, the only frame that you can look through the picture of power and oppression is Jewish power oppressing, exploiting, and subverting the natural supremacy of the white race. This is the scam. If they, because obviously Baked Alaska and Nick Fuentes are very, very incompetent, especially when trying to pander to an audience of young ladies, they are obviously failing to red pill these young ladies. But I'll give you another example. Not everyone from Trad Cath was like a legit Catholic before it went down, but apparently Faith Goldie was already a long time deep in the faith Catholic. And of course, you know, she was a right-wing Catholic, so it already contained a lot of those bigotries. It had traditionalism already backloaded into it. So it was, excuse me for 1 second. It was primed. They had already softened the soil for infiltration and subversion. Infiltrate and extricate. Oh, I needed that. So, Faith Goldie is a reactionary Christian. Rand Paul and a handful of other trad Cathy Nazis pop up with the talking points that sound, hello, fellow Catholics. And by the time they're done, they have Faith Goldie saying the 14 words and conceding the framing of Nazism, the framing of the movement, a frame of Jewish power attacking naturally justified white supremacy. So all I can really do when I look at stuff like this is to remember that Nazis don't change their tactics, they just recalibrate. They just recalibrate how they approach you, not why. So if the Nazbols are not gate-kept out of your community, if the reactionary pole version of Amprim that isn't actually Amprim, which is basically eco-fash, veiling and fig-leafing and Trojan horsing as Amprim, is not gate-kept out of your community, you will have softened the soil for them to infiltrate and extricate, and in the extrication, annihilate the legitimacy of your group's beliefs. To even the remainder, so much damage will have been done that your earnest political values will be tinged. The best thing to do is to make sure that the base of your ideology does not leave space for bigotry, and even the smallest millimeter of the door cannot, of your group of people united by your beliefs, cannot be left open to Nazi mimicry and fellow kids rhetorical games. If you can do that, then you can deflect their infinite number of Trojan horses.